Jabulani residents are among the protesters outside the Bheki Mlangeni Hospital in Soweto today. There's a raft of allegations relating to corruption and nepotism that have emerged. Some residents say they've worked for almost a year at the hospital without being paid. Newzroom Afrika's Karinda Jagmohan is there and joins us now. Karinda, good morning. There's been a lot of activity where you are since the start of the morning. Just bring us up to speed and share with us some of the first-hand stories and the complaints you've been hearing.
Certainly. Good morning, Iman. Well, just standing here reflecting with some of the protesters, this matter goes back 4 years ago. In 2020, allegations of irregularities, corruption had emerged at this hospital. At the time, the acting CEO had been removed from that position, placed on precautionary transfer. And then an investigation was commissioned by the audit firm Open Waters. That at a cost of over 3 million rand, the firm would investigate the alleged corruption allegations and alleged criminal incidents that happened inside this hospital at the time. 2 years later, in 2022, the Gauteng Health Department said it had received the report, but was yet to implement the recommendations, citing a number of internal delays. Now, at that time, according to a News 24 article, the department also did not release the report publicly, citing the Poppy Act. Today, 2 years later, 2024, the suspended Nehouse shop steward says that had that report recommendations been implemented, there would be the removal of some of the alleged irregularities that he claims are still happening at this hospital. And that is why the protests are unfolding now. I have reached out to the Gauteng Health Department spokesperson, given him a call, and we're yet to actually just reach out to him and talk to him yet. So we'll continue speaking to him about these allegations. The MEC spokesperson is also aware about this protest. I've just gotten off the phone with him, and so we do expect a response from them. But at the core of this are the community members who say they've worked at this hospital for more than a year without payment. And I'm going to speak to one of the general workers anonymously. She fears being targeted. So, ma'am, thank you so much for your time. Can you just tell me about what you were promised with regards to a job at this hospital?
We were promised a permanent position. Yes, that's what we are promised. That we'll get salaries, we'll be able to buy ourselves cars and houses for ourselves.
Who made these promises to you, and when did they promise you and tell you to come to this hospital for a job?
It's our councillor, Dumsani Mdladlap.
Okay.
Yes, and it happened last year, May on the 8th. We started here at the Bheki Mlangeni. Yes.
So for how long have you been working at this hospital, and have you been paid yet?
No, it's 1 year, 1 month, and then I haven't received any payments. Neither do my colleagues. We haven't received anything. Apparently, they said, our councillor said we are getting paid, but we haven't received any money. So they asked our councillor, where is our money? Then he didn't say anything.
So as you protest here, have you managed to speak to the councillor, to the management? What's your communication with them?
No, as we protest here, we didn't speak to councillor so far, because we have protection order against him. Because every time he comes here, he assaults us, he swears at us, saying bad words about us. So we didn't communicate with him, because he was not going to be to listen to us. Yes, so we decided that, okay, this is the only way that they can. Because before we were like going to all the offices, seeking for help, and they promised that they will call him or they will do something, but they never did. Instead, we'll get calls from our councillor that everywhere we go, they called him and tell him that we were there, we were asking for stipend or something, since we haven't get paid any time. So that's what happened.
So, ma'am, one might ask, you were working as a general worker in this hospital for more than a year without being paid at all.
Yes.
Why did you continue in this job even a few months on without getting a salary? What made you stay?
What makes us stay? I cannot say us. It's because we were promised permanent position, and everything was like, because we asked our councillor that, okay, can we apply for a stipend? But back then, when he called us last year, Nasispan was on the process. So he said we mustn't apply for a stipend that side for Nasispan. So we didn't apply because, okay, well, they said, he's promising us salaries here. So that's what happened.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, ma'am. She is one of the general workers. She has a hospital's tag with her name, her designation, her picture there, and it says Gauteng Province. So it is a certified accreditation tag to enter to the hospital to work as a general worker. And she says it was her local councillor who told herself and a number of the protesters that are here that they would get a job at this hospital. They did so, general work around this hospital, and stayed on with the promise that there would be a permanent contract. For over a year, she says they were not paid, and now is the boiling point. Speaking to some of the shop stewards, the community has also realized, she's just showing me her certificate of competence as well, that she was employed here, realized that there are a number of irregularities at this hospital, serious complaints emerging, something that is seemingly historical when you look at the reports that have emanated in the past, and the fact that this has been investigated since 2020, and by 2024 we're yet to see, or at least the complainants say, those recommendations have not been implemented. We're waiting on the health spokesperson to just, of course, take our call and answer as to what is happening at this hospital that is one of the first hospitals to be built in Gauteng after 1994.
Karinda, a great deal of concern there, as you say, and a historical issue that certainly needs clarity and answers from all of those stakeholders involved. What is the picture like inside the hospital, given that there's so much unhappiness and people staying away from work and protesting outside? There are still patients and sick people in the buildings behind you. Have operations continued to go on smoothly?
So at this stage, we understand that the work inside the hospital continues as normal. They have been allowing throughout the day the ambulances to go through for patients to come out as well. But what they want to see is to meet with the management, they say. So these are some of the cars that are leaving, some of the patients as well. So there hasn't been a blockade in terms of stopping ambulances as well. And we've not directly heard any issues with regards to the actual procedures inside the hospital yet. The protesters on the ground that are still here, they say that they just want to speak to management at this point, and they want the provincial authorities to also intervene in the matter right now. Over the past hour, the protest has died down, police clearing the rubble, as you can see, and it looks like the situation is slowly getting back to normal, but they say they still want to have a word with provincial authorities about the state of this hospital and the alleged corruption.
Karinda, Jagmohan, thank you very much for that. We'll come back to you later, and as soon as, of course, you have some clarity from all of those principals that were named in this dispute, we'll share those with our viewers.